Sure.
I have a question on Exodus 20 when I was reading it.
Hmm.
Um, on the second line, Exodus 20, verse 2, the third word in your example of the
Right.
Ten Commandments.
Right. Let's put it on screen for everybody to know what we're talking about. I know that everybody knows the Ten Commandments by heart. I'll tell you a joke even about it before we, there was a minister or a priest in a small town, in a village, and he was visited by the, like, the, I don't know what's above priest in the hierarchy of the church. But yeah, you could, I don't know,
I don't know, maybe a cardinal,
a
perhaps?
cardinal. I think cardinal is too high.
A bishop.
A bishop.
bishop,
Let's go with
maybe.
a bishop. Bishop sounds right. Okay. Okay. So he was visited by the bishop, and the bishop asked him, "How are things? Do people come to church, and how are things in the community?" So the priest says, "Listen, every Sunday everybody comes to mass, but I have a problem. Someone stole my bicycle. Okay, and I don't know what to do about it." So the bishop says, "Listen, I have a great idea for you. What you should do, you should start a series about the Ten Commandments, right? Once you get to the eighth commandment, they'll understand the severity of what they have done, and they will bring the bicycle back." Sounds like a good idea. He starts this series, and after a few months, the bishop comes to visit him again, and they start, talking. And again, he asks, "Everything all right? So and so." And they come to the conversation that, oh, what happened with a bicycle? Did it work out? The advice I gave you? And the priest said, "Listen, I started this series about the Ten Commandments, and just a week before I got to the eighth commandment, as I was preaching, I was reminded where I left it."
Oops.
Right. You didn't see it coming, right? Okay. It was okay. It worked out. If you didn't see it coming, that's good. Okay.
I was expecting a different ending, but it still ended well.
Okay, very good. So
when you say reminded, do you mean he remembered where he left it himself?
Yes.
If I have to explain it, then it's not good. That's a killer for a joke,
No,
Yeah, but you got it. You got it.
Okay.
You got it 100%.
That's what I thought you meant. I was just checking.
It's exactly what I meant, but
Okay.
that's the benefit is when you don't explain it. Okay. So you were asking about verse 2. Here it's on screen. What's your question?
The third word, Elo, hey, how do I pronounce the Yod there?
Very good question. So, as far as the vowels, so it really depends on the tradition. According to the Sephardic tradition, and I'm going to say something that might surprise some of you, maybe many of you, okay? Even in cases where you have the Tzere followed by the Yod, or the Segol followed by the Yod, even in those cases, it doesn't affect the vowel. It should be an E. However, you can hear people, and maybe myself as well, influenced by my upbringing and by some some Ashkenazi influences, you would find either a pronunciation of, as I said, the Sephardic pronunciation of just an E, okay, or you can find Hey, Elohecha, okay. So generally, if I go by the book, according to the Sephardic tradition of the vowels, which is basically the tradition of the vowels that is accepted in the modern Hebrew, as well as in the convention of how I teach, then the answer is exactly as in here, and here. Okay, but if you hear people pronouncing it Elohecha, something like that, it's not it's not incorrect. Okay, but according to that tradition, the Sephardic tradition, Elohecha. Okay, not even. I know it causes kind of an ambiguity between the singular and the plural. Okay, it may cause an ambiguity between some singular forms with a second person masculine singular and plural forms with a second person masculine singular. But as I said, according to the Sephardic tradition, you can find a sound in other traditions. You, by the way, in the second module, okay, where we discuss words that have two signs or sounds that have two signs representing them, you have this discussion. So specifically, I can tell you which slide, or I'll send you a print screen or something, but you have it in the second module. Okay, I'll put it on screen so you'll see exactly which video to watch again of that part. Bear with me, I want to put it on screen. Okay, let's share it. Okay, so this is my browser. I go readingthehebrew.bible.com. Okay, I go become Hebrew reader.
So,
Go ahead.
you pronounce the hey and then the vowel and the yod are one sound?
Yes. According to the Sephardic tradition, this is how it should be. Again,
So you're pronouncing
Elohecha.
Elohecha.
I don't pronounce the yod as a reading mother. Okay, this is exactly, you see this video? Okay.
Yes.
That's exactly the discussion. You can see of the Hebrew reading mothers. We've talked about the Aleph, Hey, and the Vav, and now is the Yod. This one? Yod is a reading mother. Okay, you can see with a Nun. Do you see the Nun with a Segol and the Yod underneath it? That's exactly.
Where are you pointing?
We don't see the video. We just
just a second.
We don't see the video. We see the original Ten Commandment page.
Oh, just a second. So, you don't. You see still the. Okay. How about now?
Yes. Now we.
Yes.
Okay. Very good. So, this is the video I was mentioning. It's in the second module in the second lesson. And specifically, there is a video here about the Yod as a reading mother. And you can see that the third line here has exactly the case you were asking about, right? You were asking about a hey followed by underneath, you've got the Segol followed by a Yod. So you can see the two options are mentioned here in the video. You can watch the video itself. It talks about this case as part of the general discussion of the reading mother following the vowels, and generally this is what we call a diagraph. That is two signs representing one sound.
Yeah. So it's really the Segol in this case that carries the sound. So
Right.
The sound's going to be there whether or not the Yod is there.
Okay.
I don't want to say I don't want to say what carries the sound because just a second. You're right that we would have the same sound even without the Yod, but I want to remind you that this is really due to historical development. So that same sound would be there even before the Yod and even before the Segol. So the sound has to be there because the sound has to be there. This is the structure of the word. Now, how do I represent that sound is a different question. Initially, that sound was not represented at all, okay, the vowel, and then it was represented by the yod, okay, and then it was represented by the segol, and they kept the yod in. That's the case in some of the cases. In other cases, it could be that the yod was a consonant there, and it lost its consonantal value, okay, as in Elohecha. This is a better example for the second option. So it doesn't matter how it ended up this way. That's a historical discussion. For the synchronical discussion, that is what to do with it now, it carries the S sound. Okay?
Okay.
Oh, no,
Okay,
that's not
man.
okay. That's not okay. Are you saying that yod doesn't modify that, Segol?
I'm saying that according to the Sephardic vowel tradition, it doesn't. I said here on screen, you can see that both traditions are, in a sense, represented. You have the ne or nei, okay?
Whose tradition is the nay?
Nei, you would see mostly Ashkenazi tradition, but as I said, it affects also many modern Hebrew speakers because it helps to distinguish in many cases between singular and plural, or between the like tzere yod at the end of the word as opposed to the segol hey. So in some cases, that tradition of pronouncing an a would contribute to the clarity of the text, and this is why many people still preserve it. But officially, according to the Sephardic tradition, it shouldn't be different.
Okay, I was always taught to say a, and I.
Okay, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm explaining why.
Yes, I'm just saying I didn't know I could argue for eh.
You can argue, and if you cannot, you can send it my way. I'll argue with anyone on anything. Just tell me the position. Okay.